Hey, welcome to United Talks podcast. Manchester United 0 to Wanderers 1. Manchester United were beaten on Easter Sunday for the first time ever as Wolverhampton claimed a narrow 1-0 win at Old Trafford, in the Premier League. I mean, Pablo Sarabia's free kick in the second half decided, the tightly fought contest. It was after an epic European night under the lights on Thursday. It was not a good way to kind of like basically win, kind of start the weekend off and all of that. But most of the players were rested in a heavily rotated. Well, I say, yeah, more like a heavily rotated side because the key players were not present in that squad. And if we're going to look at the lineup that started the game, it was pretty much basically um, Andre Onana in net, surviving from Thursday night. Nusa Mazraoui played only in the first half in the Europa League. Then Victor Lindelof didn't come on at all in the Europa League. And then Tyler Fredricson, which was another amazing one that I saw, which we're going to talk about much later in the player ratings and stuff. And then we have Diogo Dalot on Diogo Dalot, yes, Diogo Dalot on the bench with Patrick Dogo playing as right wing back because he came off to I think the second half in the in the game, right? To a second half in the Thursday game. And then we have Harry Amass playing as left wing back, and we'll talk about his ratings from there. And then we have Manuel Ugarte and Christian Eriksen playing in mid, and then Kobe Menu and Garnacho playing as the two tens, and then Rasmus Hojlund playing as a striker. So United created more chances of our improving the game, improving as the game progressed, but it was not to be as Man United conceded in that, heavily in that game, basically towards the 77th minute of the game. We had good passage of play against an informed Wolves side, and we didn't concede too many chances. But it was not to be. Like it was sad to watch that we lost, but then you have to just take the positives from this and kind of build towards the next game against Bournemouth, and then eventually Europa League tie against Athletic Bilbao next Thursday. But it was okay. If we're going to look at basic stats, we finished the game with a 60 to 40% ball possession, knowing fully well that Wolves played literally about the same style of play. Victor Pereira about the same style of play, same formation, and all of that against Man United. And the matchups were really good. The matchups were really good. The players matched up to everyone. Like let's not forget to talk about Harry Amass and his impact on the game, or Tyler Fredricson and his stats and all of that, of which we're definitely going to do a player profile on Tyler Fredricson because I was pretty excited to watch another Man United academy graduate, 20 years of age, come in as a defender and hold his own and play with so much maturity, played with so much panache, played with so much, kind of like maturity. That's what I would just the only word I can use to claim. It's just like, amazing control of the ball and passage of play and all that was muscling out players like Strand Larsen and all of that, nudging them out the way and playing so really well. I was so impressed, and I'm like, why didn't they even bring him on against Tottenham when he was on the bench and stuff? Should have started him, but I mean, now it seems like Man United's future when it comes to centre backs is is growing when it comes to like squad depth and stuff. I mean, we have Matthias de Ligt now, who is 25, will be 26 pretty much maybe next year. And then we have Aiden Heaven. We have Leny Yoro, who's literally 18, Eddie Heaven 17. We have Tyler Fredricson now, right? Center back, right? So it's key that we, and then maybe with Maguire and those Majara, we can like being the mature heads in those ones. Not counting Lindelof, because he's probably going to leave at the end of the season, or Jenny Evans, who's probably going to leave at the end of the season as well, and Licha Martinez or Lisandro Martinez, who's definitely going to come back next year. So by the time he's back, would have played half the season, right? So yeah, it's a positive outlook when it comes to defenders for Manchester United, but we have to build from here and all of that. And then we finished the game with more expected goals, like XG 1.32 compared to Wolves' 0.25. And then we've had 12 shots to Wolves' 4, 2 shots on target to Wolves' 2. We had so many chances created and big chances. We had one. Wolves had nothing. Big chances missed. We had one. Wolves had nothing. We had more accurate passes, 494 passes, that is 89%, compared to Wolves' 316 passes, that's 82%. So we outplayed them. They committed more fouls. We had 9 corners. And then with the XG stats, we have 1.32, as I said earlier. They had 0.25 when it comes to expected goals. And XG open play, we had is 1.08. So we are played them on all sides. We just weren't finishing our chances. And that has actually been the problem and the defining factor for Manchester United's season all through the year, right? But another sad thing about this game is basically that this is Rúben Amorim's 15th defeat. Not Ruben, Manchester United's 15th defeat in this season. Rúben Amorim has 11 and Eric Ten Hag has 4. So 15 defeats this season. The next team under us has 17 defeats. But and then another thing I think is the issue. If you look at the table, is that if we had turned some of our draws to wins, we would be higher at the table. We just have 10 wins and 8 draws in the 15 defeats. So if we had turned at least 4 or 5 of our draws, of our 8 draws to wins, we would have been kind of like the table. So yeah, the team with the most draws in the league this season is Everton. They have 14, and they're just above us based on goal difference. We have -8, they have -6. So it's a problem. We've scored less goals this season than we've scored in the last couple of years. 38 goals and conceded 46. So it's really, really poor. And then in the last 5 games, we've only won 1, drawn 1, and lost 3. So it's really, really bad. And our next game is against Bournemouth. It's really bad. We've had a really crap season. I featured on our podcast and we're talking about it and they were asking me about my season, about Manchester, my assessment of my United season. I'm like, yeah, we really had a really, really bad season. We had a very crap season. And then, overall, Premier League has not, most of the players haven't kind of like, or most of the teams haven't kind of stepped up to the previous years in Premier League, and players and teams like Manchester City and Chelsea and Arsenal have performed below par this season. So it is what it is. And yeah, we just have to take the positives and move on from here. But then we could also talk about player ratings. Now, if we go to player ratings for the game, if we start from the defense, let's say for Andrew Nana, basically he gets a 6.5 from me. Was an okay performance, nothing dramatic. It wasn't really, really tested per se and all of that, but considered the penalty, the set piece from Pablo Sarabia, the free kick, right? So he considered that, and it was it was so 6.5 from me from Andre Nana. Noza Mazraoui played the full 90 minutes, gets a 7.5 performance from me. Did really well. Was really impressed with how he has, and that was his 50th appearance. That was really quick. 50th appearance for Manchester United already this season. Like he has played 50 games. That is amazing. But it is what it is. Hasn't been injured. Hasn't been out injured for anything whatsoever. Right. So Nusa Majarawi 7.5. We have Victor Lindelof. He gets a 6.5 from me. Great performance. Nothing dramatic. Was not really, really holding his own in that centre back spot. But Victor Lindelof is not really a centre back like this, the one in the centre of the three. He's supposed to be like one of the guys on the right. So he struggled to play on the left, obviously, even as a left back under Ten Hag. So, but I believe Rúben Amorim trusts him as one of the options to sit in the center of the defense. But it is what it is. He led the line. He was the captain for the day and all of that. But it is what it is. And then the next one is Tyler Fredricson. Tyler Fredricson, amazing performance for his debut. First start, first 90 minutes. Like I am pretty sure this is Rúben Amorim's player. He will say it he will say it that he is Rúben Amorim. 20 years of age. Won the most duels in the game, 12 in the match, right? Played 19 minutes, had 93% pass accuracy. That is 64 of his 69 passes were accurate. That is amazing, right? He had 82 touches in the game. He had 1 touch in the opposition box. He had 1 of 1 successful dribbles, which is 100%. He had passes in the final third, 7, right? Passes into the final third. So that's Amorim's player. Accurate long balls, 3 of 3, 100%. And then he won 2 of his 4 tackles, which is 50%. Had 4 clearances, 1 headed clearance, 1 interception, 9 defensive actions, 6 recoveries, and he was dribbled past once. And that was the one that led to Eriksen fouling the player that led to having the free kick that eventually led to the goal that they scored us, right? And then if we're going to talk about duels won, he had 12 duels won. He only lost 3 duels. Then he had 7 of 8 ground duels won, which is 88%. He had 5 of 7 aerial duels won. That is 71% and was fouled twice. That is an absolutely amazing performance from Tyler Fredricson. In fact, I'm upgrading his rating from 7.5 to 8.0 because I think I wasn't very particular about watching the game for the result because obviously all of us expected is that Man United were going to either draw or lose. We're not expecting that, oh, Rúben Amorim is going to put like the first team because this guy just literally played 120 minutes over in a very intense game over 48 hours before the game, right? So now the first thing gets an 8.0 from me. Basically played absolutely amazing. For a centre back, 20 years of age, first start for his professional career. I'm really, really impressed. And I'm going to basically just kind of do a player profile of him, and then we can break down how he rose from being an academy player to getting to where he is right now. By then, he might probably have played a few more games. But I was pretty impressed by Tyler Fredricson on his game on the day. And then the next one in our defense line is Harry Amass. Another amazing performance, 7.5 rating, wonderful player. Like he really, really, really did for an 18-year-old player. He really, really, and I've watched him. I think I watched him in the under 18s last year, and I watched him in the under 21s this year, a few games. But against the best Wolves side you can ever get, he held his own for at least more than 75 minutes, playing really well, holding that left wing flank, and one thing, if you watch the game, you would see that he was holding his width. And that is what Amorim requires of his wing backs. For someone who plays as a left back, played as a left wing back in this game, played the full 90 minutes. He had 89% pass accuracy, 42 or 47. He had one chance created, and he was putting crosses in the box, right? He was putting crosses in about 70 touches in the game. He had 2 touches in the position box, one successful dribble, 4 passes into the final third, and then he had 2 clearances, 50% of his tackles won, one headed clearance, 6 defensive recoveries, 6 defensive actions, 7 recoveries, and was dribble passed only once. Won 9 duels, lost 4 duels. 6 of his 9 duels, 67% ground duels were won. Aerial duels, 3 of 4, 75%. Right? And then basically he was fouled 3 times. Amazing player. I mean, that is one left back for the future. And from what I am seeing, or left wing back for the future, from what I am seeing, Amorim is going to be really loaded next season when it comes to the left wing flank. We now have Harry Amass, we now have Patrick Dogu, and we have Diego Leon coming in already. Diego Leon. So for left back, I think we're covered. We might need to now, empower the other sides or fill up the other sides of the other positions, especially when people's contracts are going to end at the end of the season. But it is what it is. Harry Amass, a very impressive performance. And then we have Christian Eriksen. He has a 7.0 performance, was okay. Christian Eriksen did what Christian Eriksen usually does, even though he caused the foul that led to the penalty. But that was because that Eriksen was dribble passed, muscle passed, as the case may be. But it is what it is. Fredericson has been doing okay and all of that. And then the next one is a player that has been struggling over the last couple of games. He hasn't really, 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 really stepped up. I've been giving him the backing and the props and all of that, but he seems to have been struggling over the last couple of games. And that is Manuel Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte, I don't know what to make of his game because it seems to not be showing up in games. He got a 6.5 performance from me, was hooked at the 59th minute, all of that. And with regards to his stats, he didn't really, really do as much. 59 minutes played in total, right? He had 55 touches, 100% dribbles was completed, okay passes, great long balls, 3 of 4, 75%. So had an okay game, 5 passes in the final third, was dispossessed 4 times, right? So defensive actions 4, recoveries 3. So he had a really poor game, and he has been having a string of poor games, and people are going to start to get on his back, right? And I back him. I back him to succeed at Man United, and he should in one of our two. I mean, he should be replacing what Casemiro offers this team, but he seems to have been falling short of late. I guess what it is, we move on. The next is Patrick Dogu. Patrick Dogu gets a 7.5 performance from me. It was okay on that left wing back. He was doing well. He's on that right wing back position. He was doing well until he was hooked at 59th minute for the Dalot and all of that. And I think maybe Rúben Amorim was trying to give everybody a balance of the game with regards to that, so that people will not get injured with regards to playing 120 minutes and all of that. The next one is Kobe Menu. Didn't really do much, was hooked at the 59 minutes as well. Maybe because he's just come back from an injury and all of that. So I can understand why Rúben Amorim wants to take him out. But he got a 6.0 performance from me. It was no little to no impact in the game per se. Like that. He was doing all the things that were required of him as a midfielder. Had one shot that was off target. And yeah, he was doing everything. 31 touches in the game it didn't really impact the game per se. And then the next one is Leandro Garnacho gets a 6.0 performance from me. Another poor game from Garnacho. It's a bit up and down. Created the most chances, 3 in the match. Also lost the most duels, 14 in the match, right? So he was really struggling. Okay, I put it to he was being tired. He was too tired and he was trying to shoot too much as well, as always, instead of trying to create chances. More chances for the forwards. There was the one chance he created for Rasmus Hojlund, but obviously Rasmus Hojlund doesn't expect as many chances from him. So you would expect, like, this is me making an excuse for Rasmus Hojlund, but Rasmus Hojlund wasn't expecting as many chances from Garnacho as he would always do. But yeah, it is what it is. So 6.0 performance from me, poor performance, total shots 1, and chances created 3, yes, but obviously he has 76 touches and 12 touches in the opposition box and all of that. It was losing the ball as well a couple of times, even in the first half. So it is what it is for Leandro Garnacho. And then for Rasmus Hojlund, he gets a 6.0 performance from me. Poor performance. Was hooked at the 70th minute. Was trying to create chances. There was one time when I thought that since he left foot, I just blast the shot. But he still dilly-dallied on the ball when he dribbled past the defender, and then he couldn't get a shot, right? And then he had one block shot as well. So he's been struggling. And that's a man like absolutely without confidence whatsoever, right? And then the other players that came on in the game were basically Diogo Dalot came in 59th minute, 6.5 performance, okay, nothing much in the attacking phase of play. And then we have Bruno Fernandes, who came and dictated things in the game, was trying to dictate play and all of that. I'm doing Bruno Fernandes things as, showing up and all of that. He gets a 7.0 performance from me, did really well, tried to create chances, and even looking at his stats, basically, he had 4 shots, 1 on target, 2 off target, and 1 block shot, right? 31 minutes played, right? And then basically he had 25% of his shots, on target, which is 1 of the shot on target, 1, and then 3 off target, and then 1 block shot. And then he had 53 touches in the game, 100% of his dribbles completed, accurate crosses, 50%, accurate long balls, 50%, and all of that. So it was very important. He was never dispossessed in the game. And then he really did well when it came to defensive actions and recoveries. 5 recoveries, was involved in the interceptions and defensive actions, as I stated earlier. And then the next one is Missy Mount, 6.5 performance, okay game, pressing hard, winning the balls and doing what must. And it's good to see that Missy Mount has come on for 5 games consecutively, and he'll eventually get there. And then Chido Obi, 70%. He came in at 70 minutes. He gets a 6.0 performance, did well, did okay, nothing to report per se. And then another one is Leny Yoro, filling in at the center of the center back, spot in the team. And that is good to see that Rúben Amorim has tried him, as center of the back three. And he should be one for the future for that role. Center of the back 3, and he has the pace and all of that. He was doing really well. Came in for Lindelof at the 79th minute, right? And that's pretty much when, after Wolves had scored their free kick, and then basically filled in that spot, and it was really good. I was really impressed with Leny in the game, and I mean more to come from him, from Leny Yoro. And then I was impressed, and to see him play in that role, and then see him play in the role in the Europa League was really good. Was really, really good. So he gets a 6.5 performance from me. Did really well. I'm impressed, and I look forward to him filling in that role with young players like Aiden Heaven and Tyler Fredricson right now, coming in and filling in the back 3 rows. I foresee this happening, especially for the future when it comes to like Amorim trying new things in the Premier League, seeing as we have nothing much to play for in the Premier League. So yeah, for the team overall team rating, I'll say For the overall team rating, maybe 7.0 if we're going to do an average and all of that. But the team really did well. 7.0 did well against the top Wolves side. If you look at the ratings for the Wolves team, you see that if you're going to rate them, the defenders were the ones that had the most ratings compared to all of the other people. Every other person just played mid or played average. So, but for Man United, I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed. We played Wolves and yeah, 7.0 performance. And then for the manager, he thought he was going to rotate, and he heavily rotated and gets a 7.0. But I think it's just another loss down the line. And the truth is, he's keeping pressure on him. But from the post-match press conference, you could tell that there are talks ongoing already planning for the next season. But let me know your thoughts and feelings about the whole game. Let me know. I know that Man United is not fighting for anything other than just trying to push up the table. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is that we are confirmed to not be relegated this season. We're not going to be in the relegation fight this season at least. But for a season that 38 points secures you, um, 38 points secures your spot in the Premier League, then you can tell that this season is really, really not really a competitive season. But it is what it is. Congratulations in advance to Liverpool, even though I don't like to say it, for scamming their way. That's what I'll call it, scamming their way to the Premier League. But it is what it is. We're going to just, move on from here and then just take it to the next level. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you on the next one. I think next video is going to be the 5 things we've learned from the game. I'll see you in that one. Take care. Goodbye and bless.